Hello, and welcome to the information on the Master of Science program in Risk Analysis. So, first question I would like to ask, why does the story of risk matter? Most of what we do involves taking some risks. Here you see a man standing on the famous Sherag boulder, and he's obviously taking some risk. Zero risk actually does not exist. We are exposed to risk whether we like it or not. Sometimes we like it, like if we decide to drink some alcohol and we are taking some risk, but sometimes we don't like it, of course. The risk of being run over by a car. Risks that we decide to run, and there are risks that we would prefer not to run. And sometimes we may make active decisions not to run certain risks. Let's say taking a train versus taking a car, we can make a choice. But without taking some risks, we cannot reap the benefit or reduce other risks. And we see that very often, for instance, with introducing new technology. If we introduce renewable energies, there will be some benefits, but there may also be some risks. Too much risk can get us in trouble if we are reckless, if we go too far. But we also, therefore, need to get it right since we have to take some risk. So during this program, we will ask a number of questions, such as, what is risk? How well can we characterize the risks? What is risk assessment? The kind of calculations that we make in order to assess the risks, its magnitude, as well as its likelihood, for instance. What is risk management? So how do we then manage those risks? When should we take precautions? And we will discuss the concepts of the precautionary principle. What is individual risk? The risk that an event may take place. And what is societal risk? The risk to society of specific events. What can we reduce? Can we reduce all risks? And why do people perceive different risks differently? What is the role of science in all this? And what is the role of the media? For instance, do these amplify the risks? Are there different ways to communicate risks? Communicate risk between scientists, communicate risk between scientists and decision makers, or communicate risk to the general public? And how to weigh the benefits and the risks? How to weigh also one risk versus another risks. So this program teaches risk science to students. The Master in Risk Analysis offers the most complete answer to these questions. And I would like to stress that point. Here in Stavanger, we are at a unique place because under the same program, we will deal with all aspects: risk science, risk assessment, risk management, risk perception, risk communication, risk governance, and policy. And this is something really unique. This is something that does not really exist in other places where they would deal essentially with one of those aspects, not all. Students will become risk experts. The unique breadth of knowledge that will be learned will help students with different backgrounds. And we are very proud of this. We have students with technical backgrounds, for instance, engineers, but we also have students with who are coming from the humanities, social sciences, or other areas like natural sciences. And all will work together to become risk experts themselves. They will be part of one of the strongest scientific groups on risk worldwide. In Stavanger, again, we gather people on all aspects of risk, and we have an entire group. And this group is also linked to learned societies and other researchers in the world on risk. We play a central role. Students will acquire skills to tackle key risks that societies are facing today. For instance, emerging technologies, pandemics, climate change, or international and national security matters. The program is stimulating and thought-provoking. Students benefit from, as well as contribute to, the field of risk. The program offers a lot of career prospects. First of all, I'd like to say On the scheme of things, of course, risk analysis is a fairly new discipline, but it is over 40 years old. So it has already established itself within science. It's now recognized as a well-established field. Students are part of a vibrant community of practice. So as I mentioned already, we are at the center of the risk world, if I could put it that way. And for instance, I'm an active member and former president of the European chapter of the Society for Risk Analysis, which is playing a central role at the interface of public and private sectors, including academia, government, and various industries. So we are really at the interface of these various players. So you will be able to delve into more knowledge in the key aspects of risk, and that may lead you to future career prospects, whether we're talking about risk, whether we're talking about safety, security, resilience, both at the level of study or practice, leading to concrete jobs like risk assessor, risk management, crisis manager, policy analyst, regulatory affairs expert, etc. And when we look at where our students have gone, they've gone in all sorts of places, and we're very proud of that. So here at a glance is an idea of our curriculum. As you will see, we start on year one with foundational issues and big governance issues, as well as for those students who are not coming from an engineering background, philosophy of science and research methods, while those who have an engineering background will focus on probability and statistics as well. Then on the second semester, we move into specific aspects of risk, such as risk assessment, risk management, communication, and policy. And there again, students with an engineering background will move into reliability analysis, while those with a more generalist background will move to selected topics in risk management. On the third semester, you will have the opportunity to choose from a number of electives. I won't go through each of them, but as you can see, there is quite a choice. And you will also be able, for those who are interested, to take an internship. Also, there are more of these electives. Here you have those we recommend, but you have possibilities of getting into other electives. So there is really a very rich choice to pick from. And finally, on the second year, you will also work extensively on your main research piece, your master thesis. The style of instruction is taking place in English. The courses are in English. This is a very international master where people come from all around the world, and we are very proud of that. Therefore, English is the common language. We also use modern teaching platforms. We use, for instance, e-learning. We pre-record certain lectures. We have some classes that take place in class, but also sometimes catch-up classes online. We have various, modern ways and tools of teaching. And we're very, grateful to the university to support us in doing that with the most modern equipments. The student will also be able to get into other universities as part of student exchanges. And here you've got a list of selected universities in Europe where you can go. And there are also universities outside Europe where you may be able to go. But just to stick with Europe here, for students both of the generalist and engineering track, you could go to University of Lund in Sweden. The students who have a more generalist background could go to University of Trentino in Italy, or the Catholic University of Lisbon in Portugal. And those with a more engineering technical background could go to Milan, Toulouse in France, or Bologna in Italy. So quite a range of exciting places to study. If you have any questions, of course, you may send us an email either to me or to the coordinator of the program, Professor Roger Flagge. Thank you very much for your attention.